IdeasDocIdeas.com podcast.
Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of IdeasDocIdeas.com podcast, looking at cannabis news, stocks to watch, as well as insights from thought leaders and experts. Taylor Van Zandt, your host, and in today's podcast, I look at a few announcements, looking at Organigram Holdings Incorporated, trading on the TSX Venture as OGI and the OTCQX as OGRMF. Micron Waste Technologies Incorporated, trading on the CSE as MWM and the OTC as MICWF. And Emerald Health Therapeutics Incorporated, trading on the TSX Venture as EMH and the OTCQX as EMH.TF. But first, looking at Washington, where Governor Jay Inslee recently signed a new law into effect which allows parents in Washington the ability to medicate their children with marijuana on school grounds. House Bill 1095 only recognizes the application of certain products containing cannabinoids, such as oils and creams, and which have a THC concentration of 0.3% or less. It specifies a small number of medical conditions which students must have in order to receive such treatment. The new law, which will go into effect on July 30th, is now being reviewed by the Washington State School Directors Association, who is working on a draft of a complete set of policies and procedures for every school district in the state to follow, a common practice regarding most new statutes involving Washington's public education system. So why do I think this is relevant? You're seeing more and more legislation around different medical marijuana laws go up in each state. This is the first I've heard regarding actual schools and children as well. And it's going to happen at some point, especially with a lot of the work that's come out relating to autism and seizures with certain CBD products. So eventually they will need to have legislation surrounding how parents can deal with that in a school system. And this is the first example that I've really found of that. I'm sure there's more that are coming out or have already come out that I may have missed. So now going into first announcements, looking at Organigram Holdings Incorporated, the parent company of Organigram Inc., a leading licensed producer of Canada, who announced that its common shares will commence trading on the Nasdaq Global Select Market under the symbol OGI on Tuesday, May 21st. So Organigram's common shares will continue to be listed and trade on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol OGI, and the company's common shares will continue to trade on the OTCQX under the symbol OGRMF until market close on May 20th. In conjunction with the Nasdaq listing, Organigram's common shares will become DWAC and FAST eligible for U.S. shareholders. Commenting on this says, "We are pleased to celebrate the significant company milestone," says Greg Engel, CEO of Organigram. "We're proud to have assembled a world-class team and facility that continues to deliver value to our shareholders. This listing will help us continue to demonstrate our commitment to dynamic growth." So why is that relevant? Not a lot of companies on the NASDAQ and on the New York Stock Exchange in the cannabis industry. It's still a small number when compared to the amount of businesses in the sector. So whenever one sort of jumps up to the next level, I always like to pay attention to that. And obviously Organigram now is moving upwards, so that'll be next week that they'll be listing. So next, going to Micron Waste Technologies, a leading developer of waste treatment systems for food and cannabis waste, who has been awarded United States Patent and Trade Office intellectual property protection for its commercial organic waste digester unit. Micron's application number 29/644-928 sought and won recognition for leading innovative technological features which enable the digester to efficiently process food and cannabis waste on a commercial scale. Micron's digester hardware is also protected by an industrial design certificate of registration from the Canadian Intellectual Property Office with a CIPO. The digester is integral to Micron's omnivore food waste processing system and Micron's carnivore system, the first purpose-built green technology developed for the rapidly growing cannabis industry. Commenting on this, we're especially proud to have been awarded 2 U.S. patents within the past 6 months, one of our innovative biotechnology formula for waste treatment and now a second for our hardware, said Micron Chief Technology Officer Dr. Bob Busan. Our innovations allow Micron to deliver solutions to process waste complementary with several target sectors: food processing, cannabis cultivation, beer, wine and spirits, and other industries that generate organic waste. So if you haven't been paying attention to Micron Waste Technologies, they're one of the few companies really focusing on cannabis waste processing. There's a few in the space, but again, it's a limited number right now, and they're definitely one of the ones that's been on the leading edge of that technology, and the fact that they've gotten a lot of these patents and intellectual property protection is a good sign for their company, and I'm sure that there's going to be more companies as well trying to get their own patents for this, and as well it's just good for the industry to have that waste cleaned up. Lastly, looking at Emerald Health Therapeutics, who has shipped 6,040 milliliter units of Sync 25 CBD oil to the BC Liquor Distribution Branch. The Emerald branded pure CBD oil offers consumers a non-THC smoke-free product alternative. We are pleased to offer our new Emerald brand wellness product, Sync25, to the recreational marketplace in BC, said David Attar-Dion, President and Executive Chairman of Emerald. The introduction of Sync25 marks the next step in our product growth strategy to develop innovative and quality consumer products that respond to a growing demand while providing higher profit margins. The Sync25 CBD oil product was extracted by MediPharm Labs Incorporated, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of MediPharm Labs Corporation, which trades on the TSXV as LABS and the OTCQX as MID or MEDIF. Emerald's success in bringing products to the market that addresses significant consumer demand for CBD demonstrates how MediPharm Labs' specialized expertise in extraction empowers our partner brands with an advanced oil strategy and a competitive advantage, said Pat McCutcheon, Chief Executive Officer of MediPharm Labs. We look forward to providing high-quality pharmaceutical-like cannabis concentrates as Emerald expands on its product growth strategy in the future. So why is this relevant? Honestly, the BC liquor distribution branch does not have a huge supply right now. And the fact that there's more companies coming out with better products is good for the industry and good for the consumers. So I'm trying to pay attention to anything that's coming out onto the Canadian recreational space because still it's pretty limited and it is a space that needs to grow better. That's all for today's podcast. Enjoy your Friday.
That's all for today's podcast. Podcast is now a certified word trademark on the blockchain through Cognate Incorporated CM certification. InvestorIdeas.com podcasts are also available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, and TuneIn. If you'd like to be a guest or sponsor of this podcast, please contact InvestorIdeas.com. Investor Ideas reminds all listeners to read our disclaimers and disclosures on the InvestorIdeas.com website, and this podcast is not an endorsement to buy products or services or securities. Investors are reminded that all investments involve risk and possible loss of investment. Investor Ideas does not condone the use of cannabis except where permissible by law. Our site does not possess, distribute, or sell cannabis products.